Hi, good evening. My name's Cassandra Marcella Metzger. I'm the founder of Premier Wellness Travel, and I'm very excited for our Sips and Spotlights this week to welcome our very first guest from Canyon Ranch. This is Naomi Rose, who's here with us today. Hello.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've been a visitor and a guest at Canyon Ranch at least two times. The first time was over 25 years ago, I believe, at your Lenox property. So it's really such an honor and a pleasure and a joy to welcome you and have Canyon Ranch be my first official guest for my series Sips and Spotlights. So I'm very excited to talk to you tonight and to share about the wonderful experiences people can have right now domestically in order to refresh themselves and reboot their lives and refocus on their health after this collective trauma that we've all been through. And Canyon Ranch has been a leader since the late 70s in this, and I think are well positioned to help a lot of people, and I hope will help a lot of my clients. So thank you for coming and joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me. As you mentioned, I'm the Director of Partnerships for Canyon Ranch Wellness Resorts. And I love what you said about being well positioned, because I think all of us have anecdotally shared that we are in desperate need of some self-care after last year. And now we're starting to see that with all three of our resorts having been reopened. And we are just thrilled to be welcoming guests and helping people get a little lifestyle reset after such a crazy year. So
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
excited to be here and to partner with you. So I'm excited to share a little bit more about the Canyon Ranch experience today.
Well, I am too, and we've got a nice slide presentation where we're going to talk about all the things that are possible, again, right now for people to do and to go and experience. But first, since it's Sips and Spotlights, I want to highlight that you shared with us a very interesting mocktail recipe called an omosito. Is that how you pronounce it?
That's right, almost mojito. So a take on a mojito, but it's not quite a mojito without the rum. However, you can really make it so that it tastes almost like a mojito, and it's quite delicious. So that's what I have going on here tonight too.
Me too. Me too. Okay, so I just put the recipe up. We'll take that down. Happy to send that to anybody who would like to have the actual recipe that Naomi was kind enough to forward along to us for our evening tonight. All right, so I'm going to take off all the distractions here, and I'm going to let Naomi share her screen so she can get started.
Great. Great. Thank you. Yeah, I'll kick off the presentation with a brand overview and then talk a little bit about our destination resorts and each location, and a little bit more about our pathways, which are a curated bundle of services that we created to help guide our guests in their Canyon Ranch stay. So I'll go ahead and share my screen, and then there'll be time at the end for a little Q&A as well.
Terrific.
So here we are,
Okay, and now
full
now you're
screen
up.
mode.
Yep. Okay,
Wonderful. Okay,
you're up.
great. All right, thank you. So let's dive right into the Canyon Ranch brand. You know, we, as Cassandra mentioned, we've been around since 1979, helping guide guests on their wellness mission. So, we really were the founding voice in wellness, and we've got the wisdom and expertise of spending over 40 years helping guide our guests to their optimal health and well-being. And one of the neat things about Canyon Ranch, over the years, we've been rewarded and we've kind of become known as the leader in healthy lifestyles and in wellness. And during all that time, our mission has really remained the same. And that is to help inspire you to your well way of life and help our guests, guide our guests really, towards living younger, longer and leading healthier lives. That is our true goal and mission. And it has remained the same all these years. At Canyon Ranch, you really discover unique wellness opportunities and experiences that will truly transform you. So whether you're seeking wellness out for the first time, or maybe you're a lifelong achiever of peak performance, maybe you've gone through a major life transition. I think I speak for all of us when we say we have all recently gone through a major life transition post-pandemic. But we're really well positioned at our resorts to offer our guests an extremely nurturing environment to offer exploration into wellness, whether it be for the first time or to guide them on a new sort of reset path, and really help you achieve optimal health, create greater balance in your life, and help you feel your very best. We've created bespoke wellness journeys with very carefully curated programs. So as you know, as I've just mentioned, we've been doing this successfully for decades. So this really requires a certain operational nuance and the know-how of an established institution such as Canyon Ranch. And we have an extremely amazing team, a huge team of integrative experts under these 5 wellness pillars. And they all work together to create totally customized experiences for each of our guests. So, prior to arrival, for instance, for all Canyon Ranch guests, about 2 weeks prior to arrival, you'd receive a welcome call from one of our program advisors, who would then start talking to you a little bit more about what your goals and intentions are for your Canyon Ranch stay. And during this conversation, we really help guide guests towards maybe the best services and treatments for whatever their goals or intentions may be. Many of these falling under these 5 pillars. And then these program advisors are actually available during the guest stay to help guide them at the resorts. So, you can tweak and add services or change out services as you go along. But our integrative team of experts is there to help guests throughout their entire journey. So we've got exercise physiologists, nutritionists, board certified physicians, and a number of other, wellness practitioners under these modalities working together to create totally customized programs for our guests. So for instance, if you are there on a weight loss journey, then you are going from meeting with our physician and having labs drawn, and going directly to meeting with a nutritionist or an exercise physiologist or a life management therapist to work totally in concert with a really holistic view of your wellness program. So you get all the tools and opportunities to start practicing your new healthy program from the moment you arrive at Canyon Ranch to the take-home consultations after you depart. So it's a very comprehensive sort of and personalized experience that each guest receives at our resorts.
Now,
We're actually, yeah.
Sorry, can I ask a question about how the pillars
Sure.
interface with the pathways? Depending on the pathways, certain pillars would be more emphasized than others. Was that correct in terms of how they work together?
Yeah, so I'm going into the pathways next, and that's a great segue actually, because essentially pathways are a bundle of services that meet the goals and intentions of each wellness goal someone has. So I think I'll just go to the next slide because I think that's a wonderful segue. Thank you. So our pathways were really created out of the services and intentions that guests were already booking to meet their goals. So whether it's optimal health or transition purposefully is when you're going through kind of major life transitions. To live your healthy weight is our weight loss program. So these are taking our 200 services and things that we already offer at our resorts and bundling them in a way to best meet the goal or intention of each guest. This dives into it a little bit more to speak with a bit more detail to each pathway. So for example, within our lifestyle reset, we have our integrative wellness experts coming up with all of the services that best meet that goal so that you can really feel like you're getting a jump start into whatever wellness aspect of wellness you want to incorporate more into your life. Live Your Healthy Weight is one of our most popular programs. So this is going to have all the services that and treatments that best help guests meet their weight loss goal or weight gain goal, whatever your weight goals may be during their stay. Okay, I want to dive into our destination so I can talk a little bit about all the wonderful opportunities you can explore at each destination. We've got our wonderful all-inclusive immersion resorts in Tucson and Lenox. So these offer really more comprehensive programming, and this is typically where we see guests staying a little bit longer at our destination properties in Tucson and Lenox. In Woodside, this is our newest destination in the beautiful redwoods of Northern California. We opened in late 2019, closed in 2020, and now we are reopened again. So we're really excited about that. And I'll talk about that in a bit more depth in a later slide. And of course, our beautiful Canyon Ranch day spa experience at the Venetian Resort. So this is quite an amazing place. It's very expansive, one of the largest in North America, and as like a little oasis right off the Las Vegas Strip. So it is a wonderful opportunity to experience wellness in Las Vegas. Talk a little bit first about the first. I mean, this is where it all began, in Canyon Ranch in Tucson. As you can see, we're at the base of the beautiful Santa Catalina Mountains, and we enjoy about 350 days of sunshine a year. I can tell you right now, it's still sunny outside my window. So, you know, it is a beautiful destination with a lot of opportunities to experience the outdoors. The grounds are very richly landscaped, and it's interesting, you know, when I first visited Tucson, I had kind of envisioned what I assumed to be a kind of dry and arid desert climate, but actually it's quite lush, and there's a lot of vegetation in Tucson. And where we're located there near Sabino Canyon and at the base of the mountains, there are a lot of mature trees and lots of little cute critters like little desert bunnies and things like that. So you are totally immersed in nature when you're visiting our Tucson property. And it's funny because when I talk to guests that are visiting Tucson specifically, you know, they say they get off the plane, and oftentimes it's guests coming from the Northeast or a big city, and I say it's almost like taking a Valium. You know, you just arrive onto property and everything tends to kind of slow down, and it's extremely tranquil and really provides a nurturing place for you to explore your wellness goals. So it's a truly beautiful property. We're on 150 acres, so we have quite a lot of outdoor hiking opportunities, and being at the base of the mountains, we have amazing hiking and mountain biking opportunities right there in the Santa Catalina Mountains. We have 4 pools, 3 are outdoor and 1 is indoor, a high ropes course, a beautiful aerial adventure course. So there are so many opportunities to get outdoors and experience nature and just get away. So, and explore wellness. So it's really lovely. Of course, as you can imagine, I think we're most well known for our spa experiences over the years. We have a beautiful spa and fitness complex, state-of-the-art studios, so you can keep all your favorite training classes on the road with our amazing fitness practitioners. We have a beautiful Watsu therapy pool, so an indoor experience with an amazing dome overhead where you can do some of our aquatics and Watsu experiences. We also have underwater treadmills, which is really cool.
I know what Watsu is, but some of our viewers may not know exactly what Watsu is. So why don't you explain that to people?
Sure.
Is so amazing.
Yeah, it's a really cool service. It's underwater shiatsu. So that Watsu is kind of a take on that name. And you're essentially working one-on-one in a very tranquil environment and dipping into a pool with a shiatsu practitioner where they're actually doing a guided service, and you're never underwater. You're actually floating on the water, and it's very much described like being back in the womb. And so then the Watsu therapist takes you through a guided ritual, if you will, of a shiatsu experience on water. And it's a very sort of, I don't know how to describe it, back to the womb experience where you're able to kind of tune out all the outside noise and just get totally immersed in the water and the experience. And they do a guided sort of meditation type of experience. Very, very unique and cool.
It sometimes makes me think there's one of the 8 limbs of yoga. There's something called Dhyana, and that's where you withdraw the senses. So it's like it's not even like a meditation,
Yeah.
but you really sort of, like you described, go back to the womb, and I imagine that's what that's like. So I'm actually
Yes,
going to be
exactly.
I'm actually going to be going to Tucson
Yay!
next
I can't
month.
wait.
Yeah, I can't wait either. And I'll be able to then personally describe what all these things are like.
Yes, yes. And we have some wonderful treatments lined up for you. So I'm excited for you to kind of dive a little bit deeper into soul journeys and chakra therapies and all the cool stuff that we offer. So it's going to
Yes.
be fun.
And the Tucson was just remodeled, correct?
Yes, yes. So that's what this slide sort of intends to showcase here. Uh, Last year, we took kind of this long pause while our resorts were closed to do a beautiful renovation on our property. And I'm just very excited about this because the rooms are absolutely stunning. And we completely refreshed, remodeled them to have, you know, state of the art smart features, of course, thoughtful amenities for total relaxation, and a very spa-like vibe. So they really meet the experience that Canyon Ranch guests would expect from kind of going on to a spa and wellness journey in the desert. So absolutely beautiful. We also added 14 rooms in what's called the Reserve. So it's a 20-room enclave with a 1,200 square foot private suite. So this is absolutely an amazing place for groups as well, because you've got 20 suites that you can all cluster in and kind of be in your own little safe pod or bubble, if you will, at the resort. So that is a wonderful option for group retreats. And the rooms just are stunning and relaxing. And I would highly recommend, if you do come to stay at Canyon Ranch, you try our pillow menu, which offers you a variety of different feathers and fullness and allergy-free options. So a very cool customization that we offer in our rooms.
I love that. There's not many places that offer that. There's a few, but
Yeah.
that's good that you guys do.
We aim to make sure all of our guests are as comfortable and pleased as possible. That is kind of just the way we roll at Canyon Ranch. And all our resorts are all inclusive as well. So this slide details a bit of that. So you've got a daily service allowance of $175 that's built into the package rate that you can use towards any services or treatments or workshops that we offer. In addition to that, we also offer a choice of 25 to 35 classes daily that are just complimentary part of our daily programming. So, you know, all the fitness classes, outdoor hiking and opportunities, creative arts classes, and wellness workshops. So while our physicians and nutritionists and folks aren't working one-on-one with guests, they're actually often giving lectures and presentations in our lecture halls. So you have an opportunity to really learn a lot about wellness and health and how you can lead a healthier life while you're on property at Canyon Ranch, in addition to all the wonderful activities and everything else that we offer. We also offer all meals daily. So there's 3 meal times, but throughout the day you can go up to the cafe and get snacks and smoothies and espresso drinks and things like that. It's worth noting we do not serve alcohol at our Tucson or Lenox properties. So so that's the one exception. Guests, of course, can bring it on their own if they wish to enjoy in their room, but we do have mocktails and things like that. But part of our programming is that we don't serve alcohol. Moving over to the beautiful East Coast, we've got our absolutely stunning Storybook property in Lenox in the Berkshires. I love visiting this property. You know, I had never been to Lenox prior to working for Canyon Ranch, and my first visit there, I just felt like I had stepped into a storybook. It's just stunning. And we're in a beautiful location. We're only about a half mile from the little town center of Lenox. So it's a really fun place to explore also all the cultural opportunities in the area and things like that. I'll talk a little bit about those in a minute. We're situated on over 120 acres in the heart of the Berkshire Mountains here. And, you know, Lenox has been a popular retreat for years. It's actually increased quite a bit in popularity recently with all the concerts and summer programming and things happening there. But the Rockefellers and Carnegies and these families have been going to Lenox for a long time because of its beauty and you know, its tranquility, and it's so lush and green. And it meets up with the Appalachian Trail. So there's lots of outdoor opportunities here as well.
Edith Wharton too, right? In this, her home is in the
Yes.
area.
Yes, Edith Wharton's home is in the area. That's a really special place to go. And the Norman Rockwell Museum, Tanglewood, Shakespeare and Company, Jacob's Pillow. So there are a lot of cultural events happening in Lenox, especially in the summertime. So it's a real treat. In addition to all the wonderful programming, of course, that we offer. One of the neat things about the property, you see the Bellefontaine Mansion is pictured here on the right. And that is really sort of the centerpiece of the property. But connected to the Bellefontaine Mansion is an east and west wing with our beautiful hotel rooms and suites. And they're all connected by, the entire property is connected by climate controlled, glass enclosed walkways. So you've got floor to ceiling glass walkways. So it's really a Four Seasons resort in the sense that you can go from your room in your robe all the way to the spa facility, and just be in your cozy robe with a hot apple cider in the middle of winter, and there could be a snowshoer right outside your window, and you never have to step out into the cold. So we really take advantage of the weather here all year round. So you've got wonderful outdoor opportunities like snowshoeing and cross-country skiing and things like that. But you also have the opportunities to stay cozy and do all the wonderful indoor activities we offer without ever having to worry about the weather outside. We also have a beautiful aerial adventure course at this property, and wonderful spa facility, indoor pool, and indoor fitness track as well for those of you that want to continue running all year long. And then, of course, the outdoor opportunities are endless. We already talked about some of these wonderful cultural activities that happen in the summertime. You've also got MoCA nearby, so you've got amazing opportunities to explore art. There's a cute little, oh geez, I forgot the name of it. Farmer's market. There's a cute name for it, but there's a farmer's market that happens right down the road. So you can often go walk straight from property towards town, and it's a little country road, very quiet and quaint, and hit the farmer's market, go get a little coffee in town and things like that. So like I said, it's just a really beautiful location with a lot to do. Our rooms were recently renovated here as well. So about 3 or 4 years ago, we did room renovations. As you can see, we kept it very New England charm. And this is a photo on the right of our library. So, this was one of the original rooms in the mansion. And there's quite a storied history about the mansion where there was a fire about a century ago. And this is one of the only rooms that was left intact. So they really helped restore it to its original splendor. And we do a lot of really fun group activities and things like that in this room. So a great place to gather. And our beautiful newest property in Woodside, I'm really excited to be able to share more about this property. As I said, we opened in 2019 and then closed due to the pandemic. So we are so thrilled. It almost feels like we're really launching it for the first time this year because it just reopened about a month ago. And this is really a more intimate retreat property, if you will, than our all-inclusive immersion resorts. So this is a little bit smaller of a property at 16 acres. And we really take advantage of nature at this property because we've got the beautiful redwoods right outside the door. As you can see from these images, we have treehouse style rooms. So these rooms are lofted as much as 50 feet into the air. So you're right in the trees with beautiful balconies where you can enjoy your morning coffee and hear the birds chirping. There is quite an intentional design behind our treehouse rooms so that you really rise and fall with the circadian rhythms of the day. So there's an intention behind not having blinds on the windows there so that you're encouraged to wake up with the sunrise and start enjoying all the opportunities of fitness and exploration and wellness right outside the door. So
it's so beautiful. When my clients reserve into Woodside, do they have to specifically request one of these treehouse rooms, and is that guaranteed? How does that work?
It's a great question. So there's 38 guest rooms in total, 24 of which are treehouse rooms and 14 of which are retreat rooms, which are located in the main lodge. So the treehouse rooms you would request and you would book that separately as a differentiator. And it just depends on the person. Like I think our treehouse rooms are so special, and I love waking up in the trees. But the retreat rooms are wonderful too because they're housed in the lodge, so they're easy. You just kind of feel like you're with your close knit group inside the lodge. You just go right upstairs, that sort of thing. So it just depends on the person.
Right.
Yeah.
And do the main lodge rooms have blinds or no?
Yes, they do. They feature a few different amenities, but they're just as beautiful. I mean, they look the same. They just aren't quite as lofted in the air in the trees.
Got it. Got it.
So as I mentioned, we're on 16 acres here in the Redwoods, and we're really well located for the surrounding Bay Area. So we've got San Francisco Airport about 30 minutes away. San Jose Airport is almost equidistant at about 25 minutes away. And we really take advantage of all the outdoor opportunities. So you've got amazing hiking paths. We actually have a forest obstacle course on property. So we do a lot of like boot camps and things like that and forest activities. Of course, we do forest bathing, which is a really fun opportunity to get out in nature and incorporate some of the stress management techniques of forest bathing. And I think the next slide goes into our, oh, not quite yet. Okay, I'll talk a little bit about our culinary opportunities next. We have 5 treatment rooms at this property. So we have a smaller menu of services in Woodside, but of course an exceptional menu as any guest would expect from the Canyon Ranch experience. And we have spiritual guides, wellness coaches, life management therapists. We also bring in a rotation of guest speakers and celebrity guests to host our retreats as well. So at any given time, I would encourage you to check our website. We often have our featured events shown on our website for exciting opportunities coming up, for exciting retreat opportunities and guest speakers. We have an amazing culinary program in Woodside. Our executive chef, Isabel, takes a really inspired farm-to-table approach in the culinary program and uses all the local purveyors. And she's got great relationships with the Bay Area farmers and purveyors. So she just is masterful in the kitchen and provides a really exciting culinary opportunity when you're here. Another exception to Woodside and another differentiator than our resorts in Tucson and Lenox is the fact that we do serve alcohol at this property. So we serve natural, biodynamic, organic, and locally sourced wines. And we also do a lot of pop-up events with vintners and fireside chats with the vineyards. So there's a lot of opportunities to, learn a little bit more about some of these organic wines that are sourced nearby and have a little fun with it too. Woodside, of course, as you can imagine, being kind of a retreat property with beautiful gathering spaces, really lends itself nicely for group opportunities, as do all our resorts. But yeah, we have totally customized itineraries for your group. So you can do private group dinners, private group hikes. We do like paint and sip or paint and hike. And we're very creative with the ways we customize our group experiences, everything down to the minute detail, whether it's a corporate group that wants really specialized snacks and beverages and things like that, to kind of creative opportunities to do art together and things like that. So it's a really nice opportunity to get together with your group. And we see a lot of social groups as well. So you can imagine we do family reunions, girlfriend getaways are very popular, mother-daughter stays, and a lot of milestone birthdays and things like that as well. And then, of course, as our valued partner, I'm so thrilled to partner with Premier Wellness Travel and hopefully welcome you all as to our resorts with these wonderful amenities and upgrades. We really roll out the red carpet for our travel partners, and they're very important to us. So So I'm just thrilled to be able to offer a really custom and exclusive experience anytime you book through Premier Wellness Travel when you come to our resorts. So
This is great. This is so wonderful. I have very fond memories. My first visit to Canyon Ranch up in Lenox, and here, let's get us both back up here, um, so we can see
okay.
each other. Okay, now I'm going to add me, and now you. Sorry, took a second there.
Hi. No worries.
So I think it was sometime in the mid 90s, and I remember vividly a couple of things. I remember it was the first time I had rice milk, which I did not like at the
Oh, yeah.
time, but non-dairy milk has come a long way in 25 years. So
It
it's
sure has.
not quite as, it looked like just colored water back then and tasted like that. I remember meeting Dr. Mark Hyman, who's now a best-selling author. So you often meet some really, and work with some really either up-and-coming or already preeminent wellness experts and doctors and such. And you have a Surgeon General also affiliated with you or working with
Yes,
you.
thank you. Thanks for mentioning that. I meant to mention it earlier, but our medical team is headed up by the 17th Surgeon General of the United States, Dr. Richard Carmona, and he oversees all of our medical programming. So, we take a science-based approach to everything we do at Canyon Ranch. So there's a lot of substance and meat behind what we offer. And I think one of the things that's kind of differentiated us over the years is that we don't just follow trends. And we have been kind of more the innovators in the wellness sector over the years. And so we're able to do that with people like Dr. Carmona on our team, and it's wonderful.
And I would also say not trends, but also it's not just for the time that you're at Canyon Ranch. I remember, I mean, you mentioned that you get a pre-call, but you also get follow-up support. And I know from my experience, in more recent experience in 2013, I still, the stuff that you got was so valuable. Like I still have them, like here, of my materials that
That's
I got
amazing.
back then. And I actually had actual phone calls and meetings with at least two. I think it was the nutritionist and then somebody who I worked with who taught me the McKenzie method for back pain. Had a couple of follow-up phone calls, and actually with the exercise physiologist as well that I met with. So
Oh, that's so great.
it really, your programming is really geared towards creating lasting and meaningful change. And I think
That's
there's
right.
a bunch of ways that you do that, not just evidence based and not following the trends, but also with the support before and after, and not just during your
Yeah.
holiday.
No, you're absolutely right. So I think I touched on it a little bit earlier, but we have a pre-arrival phone call with guests to really carve out and customize their program. And then, of course, that happens totally during their stay. And then, so upon departure, we often will have plan at-home consultations between our practitioners and our guests. So there is definitely like the full loop of the experience from all the way from pre-arrival to departure, and then when at-home consultations to continue those conversations, those very important conversations, especially when it comes to a really customized wellness program that folks will have to kind of incorporate into their daily lives once they return home.
I also remember having one of my first celebrity sightings at the pool at Canyon Ranch at Lenox. I saw Joanne Woodward, and it was very
Oh,
low
wow.
key. If I didn't already know what she looked like, you would never have known that she was, a top movie star from the 50s and the 60s. And I learned that
That's
she
amazing.
and Paul Newman were regulars there at the Lenox
Yeah.
location.
Yeah, it's interesting. You see quite a few interesting names come across the booking reports, and one of the neat things about Canyon Ranch is it's totally designed so that nobody ever actually knows that
Mm-hmm.
people are on property. It's very personal and private, and but every once in a while you'll be by the pool and say, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah, I actually, and when I was in
Person.
the one that I went to in 2013, I remember I ran into Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of Eat, Pray, Love, and she was just in her
Oh,
room,
amazing.
stepping into the shop, and I was, exchanged a few words with her, so that was kind of cool too. All right, so
That's really cool.
I have a few questions for you just before we finish up. One is, if I have a client who is feeling very sleep deprived because of everything that's gone on in the last year, is there one place that's better than another if they want to sort of figure out, beyond the things we all know to do to improve our sleep,
Yeah.
like if they're, and it's just not working for them, is there one place that, or another that you would recommend that I send them to for like a sleep immersion on how to
Yes.
improve their quality of their sleep and not just the quantity?
Absolutely. So as you can imagine, sleep is such a big component of what we offer in our medical facilities. And we have an amazing immersion sleep program, really. So we actually have a room within our health and healing center that looks like a hotel suite, but is actually one of our sleep study rooms. So it can go quite deep into the kind of biometrics and things that we can examine within our guests. But we have a wonderful sleep experience in Tucson, and I've personally experienced it, so I can definitely say that that's one of the most comprehensive sleep programs we offer. We have a similar satellite program in Lenox as well, so I think Tucson and Lenox would probably be my strongest recommendation for guests that are seeking out assistance with sleep specifically. But we also have one of these heart monitor. It's a monitor that one wears. It's a heart rate monitor, but it also takes all the biometrics, and like it's a very subtle little finger monitor and heart rate monitor that you wear at night, and it feeds back all the biometrics to our physicians so they can see in real time, well beyond just those like smartwatches people wear, what the sleep issues are, and they work one-on-one with guests to completely customize a new sleep program for them that goes so much further than just what we all know we should be doing, with, dark, quiet spaces, turn off our phones, that sort of thing. So yeah, I would say it's a really good program and would highly recommend it.
And you have for cooking, if people wanted to up level their cooking skills, you have state of the art like culinary, like cooking rooms or cooking classes, right? At both Lenox and at Tucson. Is that correct?
That's absolutely right. Yes, we have wonderful demonstration kitchens, and they're really set up to look a lot like a Food Network set or something, if you've ever watched one of those shows. So you've got all the vantage mirrors, a full, state-of-the-art kitchen, and then the chef prepares in a demonstration. The chef would be preparing the meal for you, and you'd be watching. We have it set up like a dining room, so all the guests would be watching the meal being prepared and then enjoying the meal afterwards. It's a really fun and engaging experience. And then in addition to that, we also offer hands-on cooking opportunities. So we have like chocolate making classes and barbecue classes and things like that, where guests are working one-on-one with the chef to create really fun dishes and learning all the tips and tricks to making those particular recipes healthier and incorporating more antioxidants into their diet and that sort of thing. We offer a similar program with Chef Isabel in Woodside. We don't have the same type of facilities, but we offer really cool culinary opportunities there as well.
I know a lot of people were forced to cook from home, and maybe cooking skills were maybe not up to snuff, or maybe their healthy cooking skills were not up to snuff, or maybe their cooking skills involve simply opening up DoorDash and ordering in food. Doctors are like, how many times a week do you eat out? I'm like, well, I actually technically eat in, but that doesn't mean it's healthy. It just means that I'm bringing it in from a restaurant. Okay, just a few more questions. In terms of art classes, is it like more than just simply painting? What other kinds of art classes? Can you give an idea of the breadth of what you offer? I mean, I saw on one slide you had over 1,500 like options of art activities and treatments. I mean, that's a lot. But
it is a lot.
Can you
and
talk a little
actually
bit
I can, yeah. I think that's a good point to make of why we created our pathways. So that really goes to show, I mean, we have over 1,500 services. So this is exactly the reason why we kind of bundled some into these pathways that help meet that goal or intention. And it's for that reason, because our breadth and depth of offerings is extensive, for sure, to say the least. So to answer your question about the creative arts opportunities, we have amazing creative art classes. So we do things like watercolor painting classes. We've done scarf making with silk scarves and tie dyeing, macrame. We do a paint and sip class that is obviously, very popular. People love paint and sip at home, but paint and sip in a beautiful environment like our destination properties is even more spectacular. And we do jewelry making and beading. Those are very popular classes.
Yeah, I didn't know about the jewelry. That does sound interesting. And I think you mentioned the other day also knitting. If people wanted to
Yes,
learn how to knit.
knitting and macrame has become more popular in recent years. So we do offer classes that can teach you how to knit, and you can actually bring home your creation, which is kind of a fun thing that we do. And there's some other pop-up art classes we do throughout the year where you can kind of like customize a cowboy hat and things like that. And there's a lot of opportunities because creative expression is such a big part of the wellness piece too. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and getting back to that sense of play that we all had when we were kids, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
getting in the flow and not worrying about the time. And then what would you say is like your quirkiest or kind of most unexpected or unusual class or offering that you have?
Oh, wow, that's a good one. I think our outdoor treadmills are always like one of those like shockers. Like people see a treadmill underwater in one of our outdoor pools, and that always gets people. It's a conversation starter for sure. We do primitive fire making with one of our outdoor guides, and so that's a really fun activity and actually a great group activity too. And something we do a lot with like our corporate groups with team building and that sort of thing. But I would encourage people to do. I did it with a colleague of mine who's a great friend, and it was like we were cracking up and laughing trying to make fire together. So those kinds of things I think really stand out.
One of your slides said something about archaeology though that I didn't really. What was that
Yeah.
about? Can you go digging on an archaeological dig, or
Well,
what's
I
that
think
about?
it's a more of a replication of what you would experience if you were on a dig. But yeah, we have a lot of subject matter experts at Canyon Ranch, and we work with some amazing local astronomers and paleontologists in this case, and people that have more of a focus on one specialty, and we bring them in to do certain classes like that. So to explore fossils and things like that and learn a little bit more about how things are preserved.
So, as a yoga therapist rather, and a meditation teacher, I was intrigued to learn that you have labyrinths. So, which is a walking type of meditation.
Yes.
Is that at every facility or only at a
Yes.
few?
We have labyrinths at all three facilities, and they're all a little bit different, but they all offer the same opportunity to kind of contemplate and meditate and explore. So yeah, and I have some beautiful images of those too, if you ever want to see them.
I would love to see
Them
that.
in person.
It's something that they do here at the National Cathedral, and they have
Oh,
them. They actually have it on canvas, so they lay it out like a canvas like blanket, and they've done
oh
it
wow.
in the large nave, and they've also done it downstairs in one of the smaller chapels, and it's always a very moving experience. And they've done it with drummers and with music. And if you haven't never done a labyrinth walking meditation, I highly encourage it. So I'm thrilled to know that you guys have that at all the facilities, because I think it's a very
We,
interesting experience and a different type of meditation that a lot of people
yeah,
you don't know it until you actually do it. You can't explain it
until you try it.
until you actually have done it and you understand how powerful it is.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And in addition to the labyrinth experience, all of our properties have walking paths. And that is an amazing experience too, because of course you can imagine, the beauty right outside of our guest room. So, for instance, in Tucson, there's a 2 mile loop that goes around the property. In Lenox, there's a 1 and 2 mile loop. So you don't even have to venture very far off property to have that, kind of experience of walking and contemplating and enjoying nature.
Yeah, and forest bathing, like you said. I have an actual whole blog post.
Exactly.
I have a whole blog post about the scientifically proved benefits of the blog post is called Bathing in Air. So we kind of did a little twist
Oh,
on
I
that.
love that.
So
Yeah,
how it affects us on a cellular level, because the trees give off natural killer cells, and literally has a positive effect on your immune system by being out amid the trees.
absolutely. And I think even more recently, they've discovered how much nature comes into play with making big changes in your life and incorporating healthier habits. So it's a big part of what we do at Canyon Ranch. And of course, where we're located, we bring the destination in full effect. So when you're in the desert, you've got, the beautiful Sonoran cactus and everything. In Lenox, it's lush and green, the redwoods and woodside. So we really take advantage.
Yeah, I bet it's really beautiful up in Woodside. I can't wait to sleep in one of those treehouse rooms. I've been thinking about that ever since I learned about them sometime last year. So one of my clients had one question.
Yes.
He actually had been to Canyon Ranch in the 80s, and he said he learned about putting mustard on a baked potato when he was there. But he was curious about your facility in Miami, because for some time you did have a facility in Miami.
Oh, yes.
That's actually where I went in 2013.
Oh, yeah.
So that no longer exists. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So we ceased operations at that particular facility, and it's managed by another hotel management company now. It still is a beautiful property. But we were going in a different direction with the brand. So we no longer have that property in our portfolio.
And now you have tree houses. And also something else
Yes.
that people may not know is that you've partnered with, I know Cunard, the Cunard line. And so if you go on a Cunard cruise, you can dip your toes into the Canyon Ranch experience right on board, right?
Well, we're currently not, we're not continuing our agreement with the cruise ships. So,
okay. Well, nobody's going on cruises at all right now.
Yeah, we're taking a pause from that. So,
okay.
There's definitely expansion and development plans for the Canyon Ranch brand.
Okay.
I'll be on just our at-sea portfolio. So, definitely stay tuned. I think there's some exciting things in the works.
Well, I remember when I was at the New York Times Travel Show in January of last year that the VP for Cunard it was actually a panel on wellness, and all he wanted to talk about was how you guys had partnered with them at that time and were offering some amazing experiences on board their cruise line. And it was a way of them trying to differentiate themselves, I think, from other cruise lines. And I think they were very effective in that. So we'll have to stay tuned and see what comes down the pipeline. So thank you so much for joining me today. I want to show people before we leave a blog post that I have on Canyon Ranch. I wanted to explain in detail the pathways. So I'm just going to pull that up here for people to see. This explains all of what's possible with the different pathways, and you'll see there's a button there where you can click to learn more. And then if you're ready after cruising this or listening to Naomi describe all the things that are possible, you just can scroll down to the bottom and click on the button that says plan your trip and begin the process. And we'd love to get you started. So, and you can follow me on Instagram at premierwellnesstravel.com and see about in person my own experience there. When I'm there in June, it'll be June 13th to the 17th. And so I would love to talk about it and share it with everybody then. And I'll certainly be talking about it in my Sips and Spotlights after that when I get back. And I'm very excited because Tucson is one place I haven't been to. Tucson, and Woodside just opened, so of course I haven't been there. But I have been to Lenox, which I highly recommend. It's such a beautiful part of Massachusetts. I don't know if people realize that it's in the northwest corner. And it's just a lovely part of New England that people may not know about. So it's a great place to go in the fall, for sure.
That's right. Yes, and we'd love to welcome you.
Okay. All right. Well, everybody have a great evening, and thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions afterwards, feel free to put them in the comments. If you're watching this on Facebook, you can comment, and I'll circle back around. If you're watching this on YouTube, same thing. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have about the Canyon Ranch experience and get you started if you'd like to go and refresh yourself after this crazy year. So thanks everybody for watching, and thank you again, Naomi, for joining me. I really very much appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I was thrilled to do it. Anything for you, Cassandra. I would love to do it again.
And I look forward to meeting you in person next month too.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Can't wait.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks again. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.